Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Iylshira, and so I was just reading an article on how patriarchy started because it's just a topic that's so prevalent these days, and I'm like, how did it actually start? Because I read it. Okay, I'll go into that more later, but apparently it's agricultural or whatever, and men wanted their legitimate children to inherit whatever they had, so they kind of controlled women and marriages and stuff. That became legalized, forced marriages as well, and just that's how gender roles actually started, because before then agriculture stuff that was for women, and even today it's more agricultural stuff. Women are more prevalent in that field than men. So that whole agricultural thing, I don't know, it just didn't really make sense. And what I thought was obviously that it started in Europe, which obviously is not true, because there are multiple civilizations that probably started around the same time. So in Europe, what happened was that after the Renaissance period, when there was a revival of religious texts again, I think when they translated it from Latin to English or whatever language in European countries, what happened was that the Pope, the popes had all the power. So, and Catholicism was the prevalent religion during that time. So the popes were in power basically, and they would be corrupted, most of them, right? There's so much more in that religion, but no hate, by the way, but I'm just saying, because from what I've studied and what I've learned about European history, this is what I learned, right? So they interpreted Eve giving Adam the apple as Eve seducing Adam, which is kind of nonsense. And I don't mean no hate, okay? I respect the religion, I respect the people that follow that faith. What I am saying is, I don't see any fault in Eve, okay? Maybe that's because I'm a girl, but I don't know. I don't see no fault in Eve, because Eve listened to the snake, right? And the snake told her that, she should eat the apple and gain wisdom or whatever, right? And then slithered away or whatever. Eve didn't know she shouldn't have trusted the snake. I mean, okay, in your life, have you ever realized, there are some people that turn out to be snakes later on, but you trusted them in the beginning? That's exactly what happened with Eve. She didn't know any better, and then Adam trusted Eve because, well, she's his helper. So I don't even get it. So I don't even know how they twisted it so much that it's a justification for why patriarchy exists in Europe, and it's huh? And then they started spreading Christianity throughout the world, and their version of the religion is right and stuff. Of course, after that, then there was Protestantism and all those other denominations of Christianity, but I'm not going to talk about that. But it's interesting, but I'm not talking about that because that'd take way too long. But so basically, what I mean to say is, we're all humans, and whether we like it or not, we're all humans, and the only people that benefit from these power systems, right, are the people on top of the food chain, and we know who they are. People in power, the rich, the ultra rich, the ultra wealthy. What I'm saying is, we're not benefiting from it. We're not. In history, it was always the most powerful and the most influential people that instill these beliefs into the lesser powered people. and the less richer people, and the people that had little power. What basically is still happening today? Do you see the hate in social media? Do you see the hate for literally everything? There's hate on social media for anything. And, at first it was like, it would bother me a lot. Like, why is there so much hate? But then, like, you really look at it and it's like, okay, that makes sense. Have you heard this saying, unity is strength? Well, there is no unity. And when there is no unity, there is no strength. And so you can be more manipulated. You can be manipulated easily. You can be controlled easily. And what we're doing is dividing ourselves even more with the prevalence of social media and, fake accounts and everything. And we're getting even more divided, which is basically making the job even easier for people in power to control us and manipulate us. And, it just gets worse, right? And I don't know when, there's so many people that are going to realize that, we can change that. We can actually change that. This is not set in stone. And obviously, if you have different opinions from mine, please share, because I'd love to know. I do not want, hate. I want, like, honest, genuine conversations that we can have as mature people, so that, because I'm very intrigued right now, right? Very intrigued about this topic. I'm intrigued about a lot of topics, but this one topic is, I don't know. But all that aside, we're all humans. I don't get it. We're all humans first. Okay? Before we are male, female, before we are brown, white, black, before we are Asian, African, American, European, we're humans. Okay? We're humans. So, I don't know. Maybe that's just me, okay? Maybe that's just me. I am not hating on anyone. I'm just sharing my opinion about certain topics. And of course, there are some people that are obviously going to get triggered, because people get triggered over anything these days. And obviously they're going to, I'm not even going to, like, argue against this, because whatever. But I do not mean to hate on anyone, and if I did, I am very sorry. I truly did not mean to offend anyone. I'm just discussing a topic, and I'm genuinely curious about things. And this is just my opinion, okay? This is just me conjuring up random things that I think from what I've learned and what I've read. And what I'm going to say and what I'm going to leave you guys with is, this system, patriarchy, does not benefit women. It does not benefit men either. Okay? It only benefits the people from the higher classes. And history has literally proved that. And I just keep wondering, right? With the way people act these days, I'm like, when are we going to realize that we can actually control our lives? When are we going to realize that we're not victims to our reality and we don't need to depend on anyone? Like, people often convince us to be dependent on other people, right? There's so many lies that people spread these days that, you need this to live a good life and blah, 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 right? When are we going to realize that the only people that can make us happy is ourselves? And if we're happy from within, we'll be happy no matter what the circumstances. So it's all the inner work and genuinely finding good people. And even if you can't find good people and you're all alone, it's fine. And plus, we're in the day and age of technology, so we can find people that genuinely are good people online, okay? And just that, instead of just living reality and reacting to circumstances that happen in our life, we can actively observe our life first off, think of life in a big picture sense, and then also improve it. We always have the choice. I'm gonna repeat it again. We always have a choice, no matter what. You always have a choice. I always have a choice. We have choices. Okay? Sometimes maybe too many of them. But we have choices. We can use them. And with that, I'm gonna leave you guys. I'll see you in the next one. See you.